Hi, everyone. I'm Charlene Shirk. Welcome to Digital Champions, where we speak to some of the most innovative thinkers in the digital space. Joining me today is my co-host, Jonathan Silva. Jonathan, good to see you today.
Yo, good to see you.
And then we've got Dan Dillon from Raleigh, North Carolina with Reveal Mobile. Dan, thanks so much for taking the time to join us today on Digital Champions.
Hi, Charlene. Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Oh, our pleasure. So what are you revealing over there at Reveal Mobile?
Well, there's no secret. It is all about geofencing marketing and all about measuring campaigns. So we think a lot about digital marketers and the value they bring to their organizations.
So, Dan, tell me a little bit more about what you're solving for your customers. Geofencing is this big word that gets thrown around in advertising a lot, especially by people that are simply selling. So what are you doing and why?
The market comes to us for three reasons. The first one is to measure campaigns with an offline component. The second one is for location-based audiences and activating those audiences on digital channels. And then the third one is for location-based analytics to understand what's happening at locations people care about. And we could dig into the attribution piece. There's actually three layers to that as well.
Yes,
on the
please.
attribution side, we are. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, please do. Yeah.
Cool. So the three pieces of the attribution side are measuring digital campaigns designed to drive offline foot traffic to a store, a restaurant, a casino, what have you. The second one is a digital campaign that is exposure-based, right? That is pixel-based to drive foot traffic to those same locations or any others in physical time and space. And then the third piece of the attribution puzzle that we solve for is exposures for out-of-home campaigns and then conversions for out-of-home campaigns, whether those are digital conversions on a website, in an app, or offline conversions, like I said in a store earlier. So anytime a campaign has an offline component, we're measuring it.
And so I don't think, because geofencing gets thrown around a lot and people like to twist it or use it, especially in sales, right? What does this mean to people, having this precise location and this precise data, especially in a time now where third-party data is getting harder and harder to utilize?
That's a great question. It means a reduction in wasted ad spend, ultimately. It's a more efficient campaign that the marketer gets to run by virtue of spending money on audiences and on outcomes that they know are going to impact the business. So much of digital advertising is testing, experimenting, and then repeating those tests and looking, obviously, to improve your numbers. Geofencing is almost a shortcut, in a way, to greater efficiency and better outcomes.
Dan, I think this is one of those digital marketing sides where the science intrigues people, right? It's like, we don't want intrusion, but we want to get sold and presented the things that are of interest to us and are of value to us. So could you just break down and paint a picture, give an example of how this geofencing could be used? And you kind of gave three kind of buckets in which you utilize it. You're welcome to pick an example from any of the three examples you provided.
It's a great point you make, Charlene. In terms of why this is valuable to the consumer, we expect personalization, right? Here we are talking about marketing, but we are also all consumers. And as consumers, we want those brands to remember us. What did we buy? How did we buy it? At what price point are we most likely to respond to an offer? All of these data points are valuable to not just the advertiser or the retailer, but to the consumer, him or herself. So as we think about being retargeted, let's talk about that for a minute. You are retargeted by virtue of visiting websites all the time, right? We know cookies are here for now. We know they're not long for this world, but that's how the world works today. By the same token, if you visit a store, let's say you go holiday shopping in the coming months, you might get an ad for a store you visited in physical space, right? Because you were in that location and that store knows that you should come back for better offers, or maybe you want to make a return, or maybe you want to buy more, or a second a refill on whatever you bought previously. So being remarketed to as a result of your physical store visits is just as valuable in terms of personalization as we've seen remarketing work in the digital space. So as a consumer, if you have a favorite restaurant and you've not been there for a while, it might be in your best interest to get that reminder to come back and see us because we miss you, right? That's the advertiser's message, to get the consumer back into that restaurant.
And Dan, how do you pick which platform to send me that message on?
That's a great question. The 800-pound gorilla, of course, is paid social. Just about everyone in the marketing space is using all the big platforms, as you can imagine, right? We're moving a lot of money into TikTok. We're spending on Snapchat. We're spending on, naturally, Instagram and Facebook, right on through LinkedIn, Pinterest, and Twitter, and all the rest. So that would be the first place to really make sure you're addressing your audiences with that location-based filter. And then the other platform is digital display, programmatic display, which is also very effective. And then, as we know, out of home is often last touch attribution for a retail visit. So out of home is just as critical a channel as any of the more stalwart digital channels.
So I'm interested in learning more about how you do this. How are you receiving this data? In a more, I know I saw the advanced polygons on the website, and there are a few different, I guess, indicators there. How are you doing this?
That's right. Well, you carry a phone, I carry a phone, and I've opted in, I'm sure you have too, to location services on that device, right? We want to know the weather. We want to book a table at our favorite restaurant this weekend. We want the specials at our local retailer. All of those services that we get through our phone are enabled by location services, among others. So I'm now part of an opted-in, privacy-compliant audience. And as an eligible audience member, I'm able to receive these kinds of messages, these kinds of advertisements that are tailored to my preferences, to my past behavior, to my actual real-world experience. So by virtue of opting into location services, you're now just as marketable as another audience member who's opted in.
All right, Dan, we're going to have to end it there. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. I love that I'm a shopper online. If you can send me something and I can buy it in 2 clicks, I'm your sucker man. I'm your audience. Like I am the girl you are tracking all the time. And thank you for your accuracy. Although I will tell you, when Spanx sends me texts around Thanksgiving, I think I'm going to opt out, just so you know. Situational awareness goes a long way. All right, Dan from Reveal Mobile, thanks so much for joining us. Hey, Jonathan, always great questions from you, sir.
Hey, thanks for having me. Dan, thank you so much. It's really cool what you're doing.
Thank you both. Great pleasure.
All right, and if you'd like to learn more about what they're doing over there at Reveal Mobile, you can check them out by going to dailyadbrief.com. I'm your host, Charlene Shirk. Thanks so much for joining us today on Digital Champions. We look forward to learning something new with you next time.
Simplify presents Addressable CTV, combining the power of TV with the targeting and attribution of digital. Simplify's Addressable CTV delivers massive reach with the ability to scale without sacrificing precision. TV buyers can generate incremental reach with household-level targeting, frequency controls, reporting, and insights. To learn more about Simplify's Addressable CTV and what it can do for your clients, visit simply.fi.